Agriculture is a major sector of the production economy in Nigeria, providing employment for 70% of over 150 million people, comprising of smallholder farmers, mainly focused on subsistence farming. Agribusiness is an aspect of agriculture comprising of production, manufacturing, distribution of farm inputs, equipment and supplies at one hand, and the processing, storage and distribution of farm commodities on the other hand. The importance of agribusiness in the economy cannot be overemphasized. Thanks for joining us today on TV and Business Daily. I am Chiwendo Osisiago, and today we shall be discussing on the agribusiness and job creation in Nigeria. But before we proceed with that, let's look at what is happening in the business world. Total assets of the banking sector rose to 47.82 trillion naira as of the end of June. A member of the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Rafidadi Sanusi, disclosed this during the last MPC meeting in his presentation, which was obtained by a correspondent on Wednesday. He also said the report on the banking system stability review showed that despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 lockdown, the banking system remains sound and resilient. Sanusi said the industry capital adequacy ratio had increased to 15% in June 2020, which meets the industry prudential benchmark. Following the instruction of the loan-to-deposit ratio policy, it said total gross credits increased by 3.33 trillion naira between May 2019 and June 2020. The Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission on Wednesday lamented missed opportunities occasioned by continued flaring of gas in Nigeria. The Commission also projected an annual revenue generation of $1 billion from gas if the gas sector was properly harnessed. The chairman, Elias Mba, stated this in a statement issued in Abuja on Wednesday by the agency head of public communication, Christian Nwachukwu. The statement was titled, "The Commission calls for more commitment to gas economy for more revenue generation to the Federation account." Mba called for more development of the gas infrastructure with a view to harnessing more revenue from the sector to the Federation account. Daily crude oil production in Nigeria dropped by 38,000 barrels in July to 1.37 million barrels. A new report by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries showed on Wednesday. The oil cartel, in its monthly oil report for August, said the total crude oil production by the 13-member group averaged 23.17 million BPD in July 2020, higher by 0.98 million BPD month-on-month according to secondary sources. OPEC and its alliance, known as OPEC Plus, agreed in April to an output cut to offset a slump in demand and prices caused by the coronavirus crisis. The group said any member that did not implement 100% of its production cut in May and June would make extra reduction from July to September to compensate for their failings. The federal government on Wednesday reserved that henceforth it would be deducting any illegal fee imposed on mining companies by state governments from the allocations of such states. It has therefore directed the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, to begin implementing the directive. The decision was reached at a meeting of the Federal Executive Council presided over by the President Muhammadu Buhari. The Ministry of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, disclosed this to State House correspondents at the end of the meeting held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The minister added that FEC also directed the National Economic Council to dialogue with the state governors in order to make them understand that states can participate in mining as corporate bodies by registering companies. And that is the business news on television Nigerian. I am Chiwendo Osisiago. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back shortly.
Benignan Trading Group is a conglomerate of partnerships. Partnership with you. Partnership through investment for profit, investment for returns, cutting across various corporate business spheres. Benignet offers you credible 15% returns on all investment with us. Benignant Trading Group, your choice's investment management company, has become a reality with the marketplace administrators carefully selected as young bright minds who would spearhead this move into creating more prosperity and distributing them. This is what we mean by benignant. So come, be benignant with our increasing community of happy and enthusiastic investors. Why not call us at any of our offices closest to you or dial our number? You'll be glad you did. You deserve the benignant touch.
BTG is your friend. BTG is your partner. BTG is your handbag. Yes, we are that flexible to become your handbag. We are your servants too, in the sense that we are using our information we've gathered, the knowledge we've come into, the understanding and mastered to bring you profit. Yeah, BTG takes the risk for you. BTG is your conduit to become better. We also give you return on investment on a monthly basis. Formerly it was 6%, but now it's from 7% to 15% return on investment monthly, which is categorized by capital.
You can call us on 0907 685 9446 or 0909 22 97081 or visit us on www.benignantcg.com. We are your reliable conduit.
Stay with us, and if you're just joining us, it's still TV and Business Daily. Like I said earlier, we shall be discussing on agribusiness and job creation in Nigeria. My guest is here in the studio to expose more on that. He is a journalist and also a PR practitioner. I think a lover of the agricultural sector. Mr. Julius Oga, you're welcome to TV and Business.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, to have you. So first and foremost, I wanted to rate the agricultural sector in Nigeria now. How would you rate it?
Well, the agricultural sector in Nigeria is thriving. That's simply what I would say. It's a lot of difference from what it has been in a few years back. Mm-hmm. A lot of even professionals, people who ordinarily didn't think that there was any value in investing in agriculture are suddenly interested in what is happening. And if you move around the countryside, you see that a lot of land is going under cultivation. Some people who used to buy land and buy estates and just warehouse them have begun to put their plots into cultivation, pending when they will start proper development. So that in itself is an indicator that the sector is booming and that people are getting interested and that agriculture is drawing significant attention. Yes.
Okay. So a lot of people are actually left their work just because they want to go into the agribusiness. How do you see? Do you think that the business or the sector is actually very profitable?
Yeah, profitable, I would say yes. In the sense that agriculture is the sector that comes closest to nature. It's man's activity that brings him closest to the natural environment. And nature itself is configured for profit. How do I mean? In nature, there is the law of sowing and reaping. It's a natural law. And sowing and reaping entails profitability. If you put a seed of corn into the ground, one seed of corn, you're going to get at least one corn cob. That is if the harvest is just average. Otherwise, you get 2 corn cobs. Out of 2 corn cobs, you're likely to have hundreds of seeds. That's profitability in its very basic sense. So, and if you come to the concept of agribusiness, it's now urging humanity, urging people to look at agriculture beyond subsistence, look at it as a business, as something that can yield you income beyond what it was previously. Previously, a lot of people farm for subsistence, that is just to survive. I grow food, I eat to feed my family, and then from it, maybe I have some leftover to sell and pay my children's school fees, and life goes on. But the concept of agribusiness is now to make people realize that agriculture can actually be a business beyond your 1 hectare plot of land. You can make maximum output from it if you invest the right resources. So that is it.
So how do you know when to plant, what season, and all that?
Oh, that's simple enough. Nature has spelled it out for us. And most of us, we're in the tropics, in the tropical part of the world. So we live by the weather, basically. So you know that when there is agriculture thrives on water. We say water is life. It thrives on rainfall. So we know that when the grass is turning green, it means that there's water in the soil. It also means that's the right time to go into cultivation and planting. And you know that when the grass is going brown, then you know that life is fading out. So, and that is the time your crops also mature for harvest. That is why there is usually, if you see, this time the price of food items is high. The reason is that the farmers are there cultivating. This is the time to plant. And it is only few crops that are being harvested now. Now there will be a time for harvest. And that will be the time when the prices will come low because everywhere is glutted. Yes, there is food everywhere. And so nature spells out for us when to plant and when not to. Except for those who are into big time farming, who are into mechanized agriculture, and who have the equipment and facilities to engage in all year round farming, which means they have irrigation facilities and other, if you like, incentives that enables them to cultivate out of season. Out of season means when it is dry, when other farmers, the subsistence farmer is resting, you can also continue cultivating. So nature spells out the time for agriculture for us.
All right, thank you. So how has this agribusiness impacted the lives of Nigerians?
Wow. It's in many ways I would say it's positive. It has impacted positively on the lives of Nigerians because we have had a situation where we have an urban drift. Yes, young people with a lot of energy who have the benefit of having acquired Western education are looking for a source of livelihood, and they don't find that in the countryside. They think that, okay, I am empowered with a certificate that enables me to move into the city to seek green pastures, to seek jobs, and all of that. And that is why the cities are overcrowded with young, energetic people, some with qualifications, a lot without qualifications, and the countryside is abandoned. So farming is left to people, my mother, my father, and the grandees, the older generation, and those other people who are not motivated to move out of the rural area. So, in coming into the cities, we come and then we realize that, oh, it's not there, the golden fleece is nowhere to be found. Yes, there's no job waiting there to be picked up, in spite of my qualifications. And so, you have energetic people waking up in the morning, nothing to do, and the land is lying there in the village fallow. You understand? So the impact has been that, okay, I don't have a job. I could go back and farm because farming is becoming something lucrative. So the impact is motivating people. In the last few years, I would say, I have had people big time people who are not ordinarily into agriculture, some living abroad, beginning to ask questions. How can I come and invest in agriculture? How do I start a farm? They are beginning to ask questions. Not just individuals. Some people who bought land as cooperatives are beginning to ask questions. This land has been there, and farming is bringing people money. Why don't we start farming first before we can get resources to start the development? So it's an impact. And the good thing in the impact is the fact that it is now an opportunity for people energetic people who are those who are actually fit for agriculture, to think that, okay, the certificate is good, but I shouldn't waste my time waiting for a white collar job. To that much, I would say it has been a positive impact.
But a lot of people have actually looked down on farmers, saying that farmers are local, not knowing that it's profitable.
Oh yeah, and it's a misnomer.
Okay.
You see, we live in a society with distorted visions of reality. We think that farming is menial, is for uneducated people. But we hear stories. People who have been abroad tell us that the guys who are living large out there in the United States are farmers, and in Europe they are farmers. This four-wheel drive SUV that is a status symbol for us there is a truck to them. It's actually meant for accessing areas with that are difficult for ordinary vehicles to drive. So they call it a truck. For us, it's a jeep and a luxury car. And it's the farmers that use the trucks that they push to us as status symbols. So agriculture, for goodness sake, is not menial. Why are our military generals, the elite class, why are they are some of the big time farmers that we have in this country. They have lands in so many places, so many corners, and they are there quietly making their money. And it is we, the poor and lowly, that are beginning to think that farming is menial. It is not. It is the oldest and most noble profession you can engage in, because it brings you close to nature. That's one. Two, it even makes you physically fit. You see farmers naturally, they are...
It's more like doing exercise.
Yes, it's an exercise. You keep working. So you don't even need to go to the gym to go and burn calories. You're burning them practically and, in a useful manner.
To make money.
And you're making money, yes. And you're enjoying fresh air out there. You're enjoying the sunlight. You're getting in touch with nature. You're not becoming vegetative like someone who is locked up in an AC with in an office with an air conditioner. You understand? So you're living naturally. You're in the tropics and living like a tropical person. That's an advantage.
Okay, I know of someone who actually is going through a lot in his workplace due to the COVID-19 and all that, and has been asking for advice on he wants to leave his job and focus more on the agribusiness. How would you advise such a person? Okay,
very good. You have to be courageous, Warren. Courageous in the sense that agriculture is not a business where you invest 200,000 naira and be guaranteed that you're going to reap 400,000 when the time is due. No. Don't go into that business first with a profit motive. Go into that business with the passion that I want to do something different. Put your energy positively into it, and then you will get the dividends when the time is due for you to naturally get the dividend. It's an unpredictable sector in the sense that, for example, 1, 2, 3 weeks of an unfriendly weather can alter all your calculations if you are relying on natural agriculture. One virus, for instance, can alter your calculation if it infects your poultry farm. You understand? So, and it can wipe off your entire stock or a substantial number of it. Mm-hmm. These are probable risks that you take into consideration if you want to go into agriculture. But do not be discouraged. Persistence in it, in agriculture. Because while on the one hand, the chances of you're not getting back what you have invested are very real, the chances of you getting it back when it is favorable to you in multiples is real, is as real. So I think for me, my understanding for now is for it that livestock farming, like if you go into piggery and poultry, are the easiest you can think of quick returns on profits on your investment. They are the easiest you can think of quick returns. Crop farming, you can just give it a 50-50 chance that, okay, I will take the leap. I have some people who are in banking who are in other sectors that are looking for places to farm. They are saying, I will do it. I am not even doing it for profit. Let me even start. If you have that positive spirit and energy and you invest well, you leave the rest to, let me say, the creator of the universe.
Yeah, it's actually very important, because if you put profits ahead of you, you might, and it fails, you might be disappointed.
You'll be disappointed, and you will now blame the sector.
Yeah, blame the sector.
No.
All right, thank you. So how has this closure of border affected our local production? Has it improved it, or is still the same way it used to be?
I would say the closure of borders is one of the best decisions the government ever took. Okay. Yes. And I am so happy the government stuck to its guns, even when the entire populace, not the entire populace, a significant number of the powers that be were up in arms against that decision, and the government stuck to its guns. And I'll give you an instance for it, with rice. We practically dumped the Nigerian rice for foreign rice. And one of the excuses we had was that it has a lot of impurities, specifically stones. And we didn't reckon with the fact that the fish we buy has stones, the meat we buy has stones, the vegetables we buy have stones. It is the processing that reduces the consumption of those stones. And if we put so much energy into processing our own, over time we would have achieved a system whereby we have brought it to standard, where we no longer have stones in our rice. We used to import so much rice, and the government said no more importation of rice, and forced us into eating our own rice and washing out the stones. Are we not eating rice? We definitely are eating rice. And when COVID-19 came, let me hasten to add, just imagine that the government had not taken that decision to close the borders and we're still relying on imported rice. What would have happened? Rice is a staple. In every home, there is hardly a passing day or within a 2-day interval that people don't eat rice. So if we were importing rice, how would we have imported rice with the world in a total lockdown? And check how it affected the prices of commodities. So where would we have sourced the foreign exchange at a time the economy is on a low, at the time oil prices have crashed? How would we have sourced foreign exchange to continue to pay for imported rice? So just assume that we had the money to buy rice, but the borders were closed. So would we now eat our money? You won't eat currency, would you?
No.
Definitely. So the decision was the best decisions the government ever took. And I want them to insist and stay with that decision to force us to produce rice. Rice mills are springing up all over the country. Cottage rice mills are springing up as we speak to you. Why? Because we now know that we can grow and eat rice. Not just rice, but better rice. Because we were concerned about stones. We were not concerned about the fact that we were eating rice that would have been in a warehouse for many, many years, preserved with chemicals, and of no nutritional value. We're just filling our tummy with rice. You understand? So we're concerned about the stone, but not concerned of the fact that we're eating something that gives us little nutritional value. Let's eat what we have. Let's be proud of our own.
But true, a lot of people are actually adjusted to eating local rice now, unlike the foreign rice before.
I applaud the government for that.
Okay. So how has the government, you've been speaking about the government, how have they helped in actually helping this sector to thrive?
Well, there have been a lot of initiatives like the anchor borrower schemes to assist farmers to get loans, and so many other initiatives by the Central Bank of Nigeria. What I would advise, because a lot of the times in Nigeria, we bring up these beautiful initiatives, and then bureaucracy and corruption and other, anomalies in the places where regulation ought to take place help in styming or stifling of those beautiful initiatives. So sometimes it is difficult for an average smallholder farmer out there to look for loans in order to get farm inputs. Because they tell you, go and bring your mother's death certificate, go and bring this and that, go and bring this and that. There's actually been a ease in all those things, but there is still a significant level of drawback in them, in that where these incentives for farmers ought to come out from. If you are supposed to get 100,000 naira, someone will want to squeeze you to part with a significant portion of it. So instead of getting 100,000 naira, which you have planned to invest in your farm, you ended up probably getting 60,000 naira, which the person, someone somewhere has squeezed out of you. These things happen. And they are a disincentive to smallholder farmers. They are a discouragement. Other than that, I would say the government has, by taking that decision to close borders, by agriculture itself being a national policy of the government to say we want to revive the agri sector, let us eat what we grow, let us feed ourselves. It's an encouragement to the sector.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Julius Oga, for that contribution. All right, we'll continue this discussion after a quick break. Stay with us.
My name is Chiwendu Osisiago, presenter at Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed, and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business. I mean, your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all the social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
Thanks for staying with us again, and if you just join us, it's TV Business Daily, and we've been discussing on agribusiness and job creation in Nigeria. My guest is a journalist, a PR practitioner, and also a farmer, Mr. Julius Oga. Okay, my next question is that what are the challenges this sector, as the agricultural sector, what are the challenges they are facing?
Yeah, there are quite a lot of challenges. Some of which are environmental factors, some of which are security factors. We all know that day in, day out, we hear about insurgency, we hear about banditry, and these are happening in places where are basically sub-rural and completely rural, which also implies that there are places where high volume agriculture and subsistence farming is going on. So these are practical challenges for the farmer. People in Borno, people in Zamfara, Katsina, people in some places in Benue. Benue is usually referred to as the food basket of the nation. And people in many places where we have communal crisis are unable to access their lands in order to put them under the plow, which is to put them into cultivation. And this is a significant challenge. There's a challenge of financing as well for farmers who would want to maybe expand their operations or even set up for the first time. And if it's difficult for the average Nigerian who may not want to subscribe to the government scheme to walk into a bank and get a loan to invest into farming on, if you like, profitable single-digit interest rates. It's all these constitute hurdles for people who want to invest in agriculture. And even there's a challenge of land as a resource in itself, as in land acquisition for people who are city-based who want to go into farming. A lot of the time they have challenges how to get places where they can use for farming. So if you look at all these, they are drawbacks, but we all know that no sector, no country in the world has progressed without challenges. There's this popular poet, William Blake, who said, "Without contraries is no progression." That means the challenges you face should actually spur you up into, more determination to succeed. And I would say farmers constitute some of the bravest amongst our population to, face some of these challenges directly and still venture into the business that they do.
All right, thank you so much. All it matters is you have to be consistent as a farmer,
Yes.
and courageous. All right, thank you. So, how has this sector, before we conclude, how has it contributed to our gross domestic product?
Well, I would say there have been marginal increases over the years. Marginal, like 1%, 2% rises year after year.
Okay.
And we hope that by 2021, the GDP contribution of agriculture in Nigeria would have risen significantly higher. As of 2019, I think agriculture contributed like 21.9%. Yes, roughly 21.9% to the gross domestic product in Nigeria. That was like third contributor to the national economy. And if you look at it, basically, agriculture is like the largest sector employment sector in the country. It's not oil, it's not telecoms. It's what engages people actively in economic activity day to day. It's actually agriculture. Agriculture is the driver of commerce. The market is filled with commodities, and the agricultural commodities. The pharmaceutical industry, the bottling companies, breweries, and the confectionery industry are all, dependent on a lot of output from agriculture. Agricultural products. So commercial activity itself is driven by agriculture.
All right, so that sector is actually thriving a whole lot.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, your final message now.
I would like to say to my countrymen and out there that let's believe in Nigeria. Let's the best countries you see in the world are not the owners of oil. They are not. Some of them don't have next to nothing. If you want to do a little research, you'll see that Israel, for instance, in the Middle East, is surrounded by Arab countries that are rich in oil. Israel itself has no oil, but Israel thrives. Its entire economy relies a whole lot on agriculture, and it's so with a lot of Western economies. So let's not think that white-collar jobs are the in thing. We have to go back to nature. Let's learn to grow the food we eat and live healthy. The things we import sometimes are not food. They are poisons.
Okay. So your advice to farmers?
Yes, farmers, please persist in what you do.
Yeah.
Be consistent and be positive-minded. There's nothing like positive thought. And your activity even encourages you to be positive-minded, because when you put a seed into the soil, you didn't water it, but it will shoot. You weren't the one pulling it up, but it will grow.
Yeah.
And you are not the one to remind it that it is time to fruit. It will fruit. So that is nature asking you to be positive-minded. So let's be persistent and let's look forward and make Nigeria great.
All right, thank you so much. And I hope all of us have heard, especially Nigerian youth, not just youth, everyone is involved. You have to go back to nature, and don't think that farmers are the local ones. No, we have to go back to nature. Yeah, that what Mr. Julius Oga have said. And we should not just rely just on the white collar job. We need to go out there and work as even a farmer. It's profitable, according to Mr. Julius Oga. And you need to be persistent in whatever you find yourself doing, and don't give up despite the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you so much, Mr. Julius Oga, for coming on TV and Business today. It was good to have you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. And that's the much you have for you today on TV and Business Daily. I am Chiwendo Osisiago, and don't forget that you can follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Do have a wonderful day. Bye for now.